So, what do you suppose this graph is? Does anyone want to take a guess? It's 90%, 1.7%. Yeah. Just gotta flip it the other way. 1800 to 2000. I'll give you a hint, those are years. That's it. One person, just one person, make a fool of yourself, please, on my behalf, and guess what this is. Just, Janelle, pick up.
People who don't own a computer.
People who don't own a computer. 1800, you know? Babbage is making his machines, and we're just like rock and rolling. Mechanical computers. It's a good guess. I appreciate the guess, thank you. It's actually farm jobs as a percentage of total US jobs. What does this have to do with IoT? Well, I want to inspire you guys to think about the future, to think about change, to think about how the world can be, to think about what you can do to make those changes in the world. Because in 1800, little Jimmy is trying to tell his dad that he's not going to be in the family business. He's not going to be farming. Imagine that conversation. 90% of people are farmers. And he says he wants to do something else. Now, that's laughable. You go into a classroom with kindergartners and you ask them what they want to be. It's all over the place. My wife's a teacher. I asked a nine-year-old what they wanted to be. She said, I want to be a linguist. 1800, no linguists, or not many. So when you think throughout this talk, that's crazy, can't be done, won't exist, think about that. The world is changing. It's changing faster than ever. And you guys can be a part of that change. And this is the visual I want you guys to have. Think in your mind about a farmer's hat. When you think, that's crazy, that can't ever be done, 90% of people 200 years ago in the United States were farmers. Okay. So I just want to preface everything by saying that. So who the heck am I? Who cares? My mom does. And I don't expect you guys to, but I work for a company called Nebula Technology. We are right here in downtown. We've got 7 or 8 people. I'm not good at counting. But we do software development, and we also do DevOps consultation. Our main focus is the cloud and DevOps and building really cool things. So with really, really smart people too. I'm the least smart of everybody there. So that gives you the very ground level. You kind of know what the very bottom looks like, and it's me. I also organize the Orlando IoT Meetup, which I really love doing. I love connecting people who love to connect things. So you should totally join that organization. You know how to join meetups. You came here. So, and on Twitter, I'm at jporsenalex. So follow me or just tweet at me. And if you find something interesting, just use the hashtag intro to IoT so I can find it easier, even if you don't mention me. So what is IoT? Well, at its core, it's very, very simple. It's all of our dumb things becoming smart and connected. Super simple, right? And when they do, it's going to transform how our lives work. Not change. Transform. I mean that. I mean transform. It's not going to look like this. You don't see things in the air, actually. From a technical perspective, it's simple too. Like from a conceptual perspective, it's easy. All our dumb things come smart, they come connected. From a technical perspective, at the core, it's really, really simple. You just have sensors that read the world, read the real world. You have actuators that change the world. And then you have something smart in between the two that connect to the internet. Couldn't be simpler than that. An idea or an example of an actuator is like a motor or a light physically changing the world. Example of a sensor is like temperature sensor, water sensor, that type of thing. But this is where it gets cool. When we make all of our things smart, when all of our things are smart and connected, that changes the world. everything. Think about that. Everything. I don't mean like 10 things in your life. I mean everything. When all that's connected securely with a lot of privacy, we figured that stuff out. We're going to live in a magical place. Everything is going to be magical. That's what I believe in, and that's why I care enough to come here instead of partying out there with all the other UCF people. How's the mic situation? If only there were sensors. Okay. So anyway, what is happening now in the IoT space? Like, where are we at now? 2018? I remember the year. Anyway, well, we got things like Nest, and we got your iRoombas, and we're picking up stuff. You don't have to vacuum anymore. You got this thing on the right is it's a smart rain sensor, so you don't water your lawn when it's raining outside. Makes sense. Whatever. All that stuff is IoT stuff. That's fine. You probably know that. This is also an IoT thing. This is a jet engine. That one I think is made by Rolls-Royce, and the reason why it's a Rolls-Royce engine in particular is because Microsoft has been working with Rolls-Royce to take all the sensors that they've already been putting on these engines and read the data from them. And from that, they're saving an estimated $250,000 per aircraft per year in fuel costs because they can tune it perfectly. They have the data, they can make sure that it's getting the right amount of fuel all the time. And even more than that, they can do preventative maintenance or predictive maintenance. So they don't have to look at things anymore. They don't pull the aircraft cover off and look at it. They just measure it. And they have backup sensors so that when the first one fails, the second one's fine. First question.
Can they do that all remotely, or is it they have to be physically near the jet?
I don't know if they data upload it when they land or if they do it remotely. Yeah.
I'm an aerospace engineer. I used to work with Rolls-Royce. They do it remotely. They actually can track it in the sky. They know exactly in the sky.
So they can make changes to it as it.
No, well, this was back in like 5 years ago. Then it was just about selling service plans. So they wanted to track the quality of the brain, the airports.
So I just bring up that example because a lot of people don't think about that. They think about the nests, and they think about their lights, and they think about everything they interact with on a daily basis, but there's a lot of changes happening in industrial spaces that we just don't see as the public. So there's some really cool things. So what's happening now? This is the Orlando edition. We've got locally a company called UMP. They do fantastic stuff. They just got a couple months ago $8 million in funding. They've been around for 5 or 6 years. They have a smart lock quickset key mode that you can go buy that they designed in Home Depot, and they're building a smart platform, so all that technology that they built for this few locks can be applied to many different companies of smart locks in your cars and whatnot. It's great. And then Flame Boss, smaller company, just to start, just to give you an idea of the breadth of things that are happening locally. They built a smart smoker. It's actually two brothers, Roger and Michael, that built a smart grill controller. You can go buy this in Home Depot, but it's a local company. And it doesn't always have to be products. So the Orlando Science Center, Orlando IoT just did a tour there recently because somebody connected all of their exhibits to a Raspberry Pi, and they can control them remotely over the internet. And so what used to take 2 hours a day takes 10 minutes to shut off all the exhibits remotely. So just something to think about. So what does the future of IoT look like? Well, $1.6 trillion is more money than I made this year, slightly. And that's how much has been spent on IoT in 2017. And as we go down, more and more is going to be spent on it. I promise you, I'm making a solid promise right now, like, cross my heart, hope to die, that someone in this room who doesn't think they're going to be working on IoT is going to be working on IoT in the next 5 years. Somebody. I'm not saying everybody. Someone will, though. Think about that. Think about that, guys. Farmers. 2028 is only 10 years from now. So we basically tripled to 2025. 2028 is only 10 years from now. It's estimated that there's going to be trillions of devices by 2050. Trillion with a T. But it's not all hardware, which is why I'm really excited to talk to you guys, because hardware is just the tip of the iceberg. That's how we get the data. That's how we interact with the world. But there's this big underbelly of the cloud and apps, because you want to interact with your stuff and control it. And that's where you guys come in. You don't have to do hardware. You don't even have to know what it looks like. You just take the data that it's creating and manipulate it, just like you do with all that stuff that people create. So you work with stuff every day, I assume, because you're applications that people interact with, and they create data, and they create business logic that you have to figure out and manipulate. Well, things need to have that too. They need business logic, and they need someone like yourselves to figure out what to do with all of it. And just so you know, it's not any one platform or any one language. You have Microsoft Azure, Amazon AWS, Google Cloud, IBM, GE, Hitachi, Oracle, Bosch, Cisco. They all have IoT-specific offerings that you guys can start building on. And that's AI, big data, business intelligence, reporting, applications. All these things are there. It's not, like I said, it's not all hardware. It's just the PI story. So a few of you, I assume, are saying, I don't know what hardware to buy. I don't even know what I build. I don't know what programming language to use. I know JavaScript. Can I use that? Yeah. It's okay that you don't know things. I don't know all the things. I don't even know half the things. And I'm still up here talking. So sucking at something is the first step towards being sort of good at something. So say, instead of I don't know what hardware to buy, say I don't know what hardware to buy yet. I don't know what to build yet. I don't know what programming language to use yet. Because you're going to mess up. And that's okay. You're going to buy something and it's not going to work. And you're going to have to give it away or throw it away. But good thing hardware nowadays is pretty cheap. So if you really hate hardware and you don't want to touch it, that's okay. You can buy things like Nest and Philips Hue. They have APIs. All you have to do is plug it in. You can build API mashups, take data from wherever, start playing with it. Use if this and that if you don't know how to code real good yet, or Azure functions, AWS, Lambdas. But here's the litmus test for an IoT device. So whether you're using off the shelf or now we're getting into things that you want to buy to kind of play with. So if you're buying hardware to play with, here's the litmus test. Does it have GPIO? What is that? General purpose input output, basically pins that you can make electrical to turn on motors or lights or receive information from, like through sensors. And does it connect to the internet? That's all. If you've got something that does those two things, you have an IoT device in your hand. It has to do both things though. It might. So if you don't know what the heck you're doing and you're first starting out, Raspberry Pi 3 is a great start. It runs an operating system, either Linux, flavor of Linux or flavor of Windows. It has GPIO. It's basically a little computer. Who here has not heard of Raspberry Pi 3? Perfect. Who here has one? Hell yeah. Okay. Who here's used it to do something useful? Okay, less. Good. Okay. Everybody who raised their hand that has one, but hasn't used it to do anything useful, that's okay. I feel like that's the majority of people who buy these. They stick them in a drawer. I urge you to bring it back out of the drawer. So here's some example code just to get you away from being too scared. I'm not going to go through it line by line, but you can see that to get access to those GPIO pins, it's not that hard. You just write some stuff. You're turning on electricity. That's basically what you're doing. You're just saying, hey, electricity, do something, and then that something powers something. Or you measure the electricity and you say, hey, there's a sensor, there's a temperature, there's electricity. It turns into temperature if we do the right algorithm line, which is really just just stupid simple. Okay, so if you just want to write code, you don't care about the operating system, anything like that, I had this guest getting a part of the Photon for $19. It just comes with a little app. You connect it to your Wi-Fi. You connect that to the cloud. You log in. You start typing code. You hit enter. It updates it over the internet. So super simple. It's a C-like language. Kids learn it. It's like Arduino. It uses kind of like the same idea. Yeah. So this is what you'll have to do though to get one of those things. You'll have to start plugging things into breadboards. Who doesn't know what a breadboard is? It's okay. That's good. You guys are like way ahead of what I thought you'd be at. So this is awesome. Okay. So they can start hooking up LEDs, start plugging in resistors. Here's some example code for the part of the Photon. Very simple. Here's how to actually make it talk to the internet. I'll make sure that Janelle gets these slides so you guys can go back and look at it. Lots of links. But I'd urge you to get a starter kit because this is how you get into it. You now know why. The world's changing. We're not all going to be farmers. We may not all be developers in 50 years. So what are we going to be? What do you choose to be? How do you choose to affect the world? Well, a starter kit's a great way to get in there. For about 50 or 60 bucks, you can get a Raspberry Pi 3. You can get a bunch of sensors, motors, instruction kits, and then you just start Googling. Google everything. Everything. So what are you going to build? That's my question. That's what I want to leave you with. When you're coming home tonight, when you're going home, I want you to think about it, to really think about it. What am I going to build? What would be useful? What would be interesting? What if somebody else built, put in a different language that maybe I can replicate my favorite language? What am I going to do? How do I get started? Because you're not going to build something interesting. Maybe. Probably not. I know I did. I built a watch that talked to a coffee pot, and it was not useful at all. I had no use for that at all. You just go press the button and become fine. But it's okay, I learned a lot. And that's what I want you guys to do. I want you to build something so you can learn something. So the next time around, you build something better. And the next time around, you build something useful. And the next time around, you make some money from it. Because this is going to be big. So if you're interested in this sort of thing, if you're interested in the future, if you want to help make it, feel free to join me at Orlando IoT. Feel free to join our Slack group. There's a little button on our website that comes up. And if you have any questions, Twitter @jporcelanic, and feel free to take a picture and send me an email if you want to. And I'll be hanging out. But thank you guys so much for your time.